it strong.
Good morning, everybody.
Did you put me on straight away?
I did.
You cheeky wee monkey. Woo! This is my favourite time of the week.
I just wanted to show you what happens to James backstage, by the way.
Where's everybody go? Where they go? Where's everybody go? Where they go? Where's everybody go? Where they go? Let me ask you. Alexa. Oh.
So every single week when I am introducing James, James is backstage like that.
Stephen thinks he's funny, Stephen, don't you?
So I thought, see, today I'm going to just bring him on straight away so you can all see that backstage madness.
Guys, can I just let you know that was an absolute decoy because Stephen was running late? That's the reason why that happened.
Aye. I'm gonna say yeah, that's my fault. I was running really late this morning. I actually forgot how hard it is to take your kids to school. And
the first week back, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, it's one of the kids is back, so but
Right.
still, it's no easy. Like getting the kids to school and eating and walking the dog and yeah.
That's actually probably worse, Stephen, having to get one out.
It is. It really is.
Because the one that's having to go out will want to be staying at home, and the other one that's staying at home will be distracting another one. So
Exactly. That's exactly how it was this morning. So apologies for us being a little bit late. Obviously, we have got the very inspirational James here this morning, and today we are talking all about James. You can share it because I forgot.
confidence and self-sabotage.
There you go. Confidence and self-sabotage. I'm really glad that we've got James here because I completely forgot what we're talking about.
Well, it would have been worse if I would have forgotten what we were talking about. That would have been really bad.
Exactly. Yeah, it would have been. So we are going to talk about confidence, self-sabotage, but we're also just going to have a wee chat and just see where things go like we do every single Wednesday. So, James.
I always feel quite missing out, but as if I'm missing out though, Stephen.
Why?
Because I feel it when I come on, I'm just like, with it to you, speaking at you rather than to you for like an hour. And then when I watch all your other lives, it's all these nice conversations, and I'm like, I want to have a nice conversation with Stephen. I think 1 week we should just have a conversation.
But we do every single week. You just talk more than I do, so it's totally fine. You've got more to say, and I'm here to listen, so that's always good.
I don't know what I've got to say is always warranted to listen to, but certainly you lend yourself well to listening to me, so thank you.
Good. I'm sure Kenny would completely disagree and say to go and just shut him up.
Kenny, I'll let you know that obviously, as you know, my main profession is a hairdresser as well, and has been for almost 20 years. And when we first went into lockdown, one day Kenny looked at me and I could just see this complete disdain in his eyes. And I went, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Would you shut the F up?" And I went, "What do you mean?" He went, "James, you've no stopped talking for about 4 weeks. Go and just stop talking for a minute." I said, "You need to understand, this is my job. This is what I do. I'm conditioned, I'm anchored to speak for 10 or 12 hours in a day." So when all of a sudden I was in the house, and especially when he was working, I felt like I was climbing the walls. So I really turned actually to Instagram for that. It was a great outlet for me. And I've got a wee home interiors page that I kind of dabble in. And it was like, when we bought our flat, basically I looked for inspiration, how to decorate it. And I thought, I'm going to do this and just document how we go. It was a good outlet. It was a wee hobby for me. And it was frustrating. What are you laughing at?
Sorry. Laughing at Kenny's comment. Oh my God, he would not shut up if I had.
Stephen, the best it was, I was so aware of it as well, but I couldn't stop it. I was like, I'm sitting there and going, I need to say this, I need to talk, and it was driving me insane because inside, this energy that my body, which is actually part of what we're going to talk about today, this energy that was in my body, and I'll say it when we come to confidence and the state of confidence, it's energy in motion. So when you're anchored to that feeling, when you're anchored to that behaviour, when you're anchored to that state, even on days that I did not feel confident, God, this is a really good flow actually. Even on days I didn't feel confident and I didn't feel like I was vibrating at the best, and we've had this conversation before, where the people that really know you know that you're not there, but regardless, you still put your face on, you still raise your vibrations, you still get that in that state of what you need to get into to exude confidence. My body was anchored to doing that anyway. So that almost for me was like when I was feeling really unconfident or feeling really low or really tired, the state that I would put myself into when I went into work mode, it automatically raised my vibration, automatically raised my confidence. Now, admittedly, on the days where I was having to be dragged up here, when I finished work, I would maybe feel a bit more drained or a bit more tired or whatever, but it still got me through it. It still got me into that confident state that I needed to, I suppose, get myself into. You know, I needed that pep talk with myself, but didn't have the ability to recognise it at that time. So that the environment that I was in automatically anchored that confident state for me. Absolutely. And I think it's a really empowered thing when we start. Last week we spoke about rituals, and it's really important when you look at how is your ritual to get you to that place. So if you're feeling really stressed and really anxious and really down, well, what's been your ritual that's taken you? When was the last time that you didn't feel it? And then think, from the last time I didn't feel it, what was my ritual to that point where I really felt it? What was the things that happened? When did my breathing change? Was there something that triggered me? Did I receive a phone call? What was my thought pattern? All of those things are energy in motion because it's changing your physiology. So how do you become confident? You change your physiology. That instantly changes your state of mind.
Yeah.
You know, and that's that. The Pink song for me, I had I'm going to take my shirt off because I'm roasting. I had a wee live thing last night on the hairdressing channel, and it was with Redken. I don't know if you know of Redken. They're probably one of the world's biggest hair care companies. They've been around since the late 50s, really famous. And I was doing a live demonstration on a doll's head, a pre-done one. So it took me 2 days. It was a lot of energy. It was a lot of effort. More so because I've not been doing hair for the last couple of months. So to get myself back into that state made me feel a bit anxious, actually. If I'm honest, last week and right up to yesterday, I was feeling really, really, really stressed. And we touched on it last week. Last Monday was a day that I was like, oh, I just had wine over the weekend. I had all these things that weren't good for me. But actually, when I now look back, the Friday I had the phone call about doing the live event. And that was really when I turned to the wine, I turned to food, I started to feel stressed, I changed my breathing, I changed my thought process. All of those things led up to me on Monday night. Nicola, actually, who you know, had to give me a pep talk, a serious pep talk Monday, because I was lost in thought. I was living in the feeling of my thinking. But the difference was I was completely aware of it, but I just needed somebody else to really help me change the physiology in my body. And when I was back in the salon, I was back doing the doll's head, I started talking to the mirror, and I started doing the things that I would do on a daily basis to get my confidence. And see, when I done the live last night, without sounding ego-driven or big-headed, but I smashed it. It was great because I knew that I'm comfortable in doing that. I knew that I was confident in doing that. I knew I had the confidence to do that. So all of those things led me to yesterday, to feeling really anxious up to Monday. Monday, I decided I was going to change my state, and it can happen instantly, but this was a biggie for me. So it took a bit of time to really get myself in that headspace for Tuesday to go live and knock it out of the park.
That's really interesting that you say this, James, because I speak to, as you know, many spiritually minded, spiritually living people in my daily life. And a lot of people talk about ego. Now, I talk about ego in a really different way. So what I say to people is, I have an ego. Yeah.
We all have an ego.
I love me. I've got this big personality. I've got this huge big ego, but I'm not egotistical. So there's like these two, I suppose, really different ways of looking at ego, isn't there? You know, there's being really confident and like really loving yourself, and at points not loving yourself, you know, because we all go through that ups and downs.
Absolutely.
But the ego thing for me is always a big thing, because I always say to people, like, have ego, because your ego is your confidence.
Yeah.
Don't be a prick with it, though. Don't be egotistical. So what would you say is the difference between ego and egotistical?
So I think your ego, Stephen, the way that you articulated it there, is the state that you get into to be confident, to be loved, to feel good. You know, the ego within the spiritual being, if you talk from a spiritual point, I don't believe has an ego, but I believe we can embody that ego of love, of compassion, of confidence, whatever that may be. But to be egotistical, and actually, if I can pick a hole in what you've just said,
Good.
when you spoke about the past experience with your job in the past, and you felt really, deflated by that, that was egotistical.
Yeah.
That was egotistical, because when your egotistical nature is dented, or your egotistical state is dented, you're in your head, and your ego's created in the egotistical state is created in your head. Now, your ego that you talk about is created in your body, it's created in your soul, it's created in your heart, because you feel it. You give so much love to get love back.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference. We spoke about it before, that if you want more joy in your life, well, choose joy, be joyful. How do you get more love in your life? Give out love. And in turn, instantly you get love back. Very seldom will you say, God, I really love you, and somebody say, well, you're a dick and I don't love you. Might happen. But the chances are probably somebody's at least going to go, thanks so much, that really means a lot to me. And it lifts the vibration. You might be looking for that person to say, God, I really love you back. And if that's the case, that's the ego. If you're wanting to be loved, you just give love unconditionally and you get it back in abundance. It won't always come from the material being or the human or the person or the environment that you're giving it to. It might come from a completely different source. But to be more loved, you have to give more love than what you receive. And then the balance is all a scale, it's all a tipping point. So I think the ego and the egotistical nature are two very different things. And I think that ego that you live from it's an inner knowing. I think that's where I have for a long time probably suppressed. And it's like, that marching band in your brain that I said before, with that beautiful harp player going on in the back, that marching band is the egotistical nature. That has an impact when somebody turns the music up really, really loud than they are. And they go, here, who are you talking to? But the beautiful harp player says, I don't need to be heard. I just play my harp and I play it beautifully. And that's all I need to know.
Yeah.
That's my take on ego.
You spoke as well there about like how you basically change your state. Now, something that I do quite a lot at work, and all of the team at work will tell you this: nobody would ever find me at work in a state of, when the team come into work in the morning, I'm like, hiya guys, how are you? Nice to see you. Come here, give me a hug. And obviously COVID, we can't do that, but I'm always like high vibing. However, I don't always feel like that, right? Mm-hmm. But I put myself in that state. And I suppose at first when you do that, it feels artificial.
Yeah.
And then that artificial or that artifice becomes your reality.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like smile. Like, I need to share this with you actually, right? Just while I remember. Gina, our lovely friend who works with us at the Soul Man and Friends, Gina does a lot of training videos and things like that. She's a professional actress. And Gina had said, how to cheer up, right? So you listen to this. Huh? So can you do it with me, James, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So whisper, beep, boop to yourself.
In my mind?
No, whisper it. Beep, boop, beep, boop. And repeat it. Repeat it. Then plug your nose and say, sneak snop. Then say, boop de bop in a really deep voice.
Beep de bop. Beep de bop. Beep de bop. Beep de bop.
Then beep. Say bubbles in the angriest voice you can.
Bubbles. Bubbles. Bubbles.
So yeah, that's how to cheer yourself up. And see, when she sent me it the other day, I was powerless, and I thought, see, anytime I really need to put a smile on my face and cheer myself up, I need to I need to do that.
Stephen, believe it or not, the next thing I was going to talk about was a pattern interrupt. And a
Oh,
pattern
really?
interrupt is basically interrupting your pattern. So you're getting into the soul man in the morning, right? Into your place in the morning, and you're feeling really flat and you're really down. Now, there's no difference from confidence or feel happy or exuberant to feeling miserable and to being unhappy and depressed. They're both a state. They both have a feeling. They're both created by the feeling you're thinking. So it's not to say that your depression and your upset and your anger is your natural states. Absolutely not. It's a series of rituals that you've laid on top of one another to get to that point of feeling stressed and anxious and worried and upset. Exactly the same as you can with feeling confident, happy, exuberant, all of these things. So you've just chosen to focus because it's easier, because the mind will always try and keep you safe. So if you're happy and excited and really out there, your mind's going, but Stephen, somebody might tell you to shut up. Somebody might tell you to sit down. Somebody might ridicule you. So that's avoidance of pain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better to have less pain than potentially have more pain by putting yourself out there. So the less pain aspect is, let's live in a state of depression, anxiety, stress, worry, focus on your thinking, be flat, be down. Oh, that's the pursuit of pain. That's the avoidance of pain, although you're still living in pain. Whereas if you ask yourself, well, what's my pursuit of pleasure? My pursuit of pleasure is to be happy, to be confident, to be exuberant, to be infectiously aware of my environment so that other people react to me the way that I want them to react. That's a pursuit of pleasure. So your brain is asking you, or telling you, sorry, and you're asking yourself, what am I missing out if I don't pursue pleasure? What's all the things that I'm missing out if I live in an avoidance of pain? If I live in an avoidance of pain, well, I might miss somebody who is going to tell me that I look really good today. My business might not thrive the same way. My relationship might have an impact. All of those things. But if I live in the pursuit of pleasure, what am I missing out on? Well, I'm missing out on the love and cuddles and happiness that I'm seeing from other people. I'm missing out on beautiful cuddles and kisses from my partner, the love that I get from my boys and my dog, appreciating my environment that I'm in, listening to the music, seeing the trees. That's a pursuit of pleasure. So if you live in a pursuit of pleasure, you instantly, I mean, I've done it, you instantly change your state. Me coming in here on a Wednesday and going, hi, Stephen. So I'm going to talk about confidence and self-sabotage. And I really think the best way to be confident is focusing on, your physiology and your state. Fuck that! I want to come in here and talk about confidence. I want to come in here and talk about self-sabotage. How you can instantly change your state and instantly feel better within you. It's you. It's not anybody else. Who cares about anybody else? Feel better in you. Instantly make drastic movements, drastic changes in your physiology, in your vibration. That changes your state of mind like that. My body tingles when I behave in that manner. And admittedly, it might be annoying for a lot of people, and that's absolutely fine, because those people aren't meant to get me, because that's not who I am. Authentically, I want to buzz. I want to be energetic. I want to be happy. I don't want to be flat and depressed. And when I've said before, I was sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. I have associated, Stephen, enough pain with feeling sick and tired. I never want to be there. I created leverage to create change. That leverage is the complete avoidance of pain. If you stack pain on top of pain on top of pain, eventually you're going to go, I don't want to create that much pain in my body. I want to pursue pleasure. I want to pursue joy. And that's not natural. But it becomes natural when you commit to doing that day after day after day after day. It's not a one pill you take and all of a sudden you're happy. It's not, I'm still juicing and I feel incredible. Now, I feel incredible because I've been reading up on a lot of oxygenate your body, having your water content. You spoke about it before. The earth is made up of 80% water. 70% water, we're made up of 80% water. The majority of people only have a 15% water diet. Now, if we're made up of 80% water, we need to be replenishing that 80% water, not living in a 15% water diet. So when we're not breathing properly, when we're breathing in a sympathetic breathing, up in our chest, up in our mind, we're not cleaning out our lymphatic system. We're not cleaning out our body. That terrifies me because you might remember it. What was my anxiety before? Fear of dying of cancer.
Yeah.
So I have associated more pain with now having the fear of dying with cancer, that it's changing my mindset, that I am not now focused on what if I have cancer. I'm focused on doing the things that I will not get cancer. Now, I can't predict that. But what I can do is I can live my life and not believing that I am going to die of cancer. Because if I oxygenate my body, if I breathe, if I take in all the water that cleanses my liver, my kidneys, oxygenates my lymphatic system, clears out all the toxins within my blood, what am I limiting? I'm limiting the possibility of malignant cells lying in my body. So that's mindset. Because I'm envisioning what's happening in my body. So I'm creating the environment, the space that I'm cultivating within me has to change because my vibrations internally change. That's the true authentic me that I now, Stephen, I'm tapping into, that I never knew existed. I felt it, I thought it, but I didn't know that it existed.
You're also, like, by having that really positive mindset as well, what you're also doing is you're changing the biology of your cells by the energy that you're giving to your body as well. So it's not just the nutrition, but it's the, it's been proven already that when we are in a state of vibration that's way up here, nothing toxic can survive within our cells. It's fascinating. It really, really is fascinating. And who speaks about that actually is, oh my God, his name's went right in my head. That's so bad. Geez, oh.
Give me a clue. Give us a clue. Give us a clue.
He's, oh, Jesus, why can I not remember his name? He's a physicist. He used to work in a pharmaceutical company. He's also an author for
Scottish guy. Scottish guy.
Yeah.
Nicola, if you're watching, she knows. Type it in now.
It's so bad.
What is it to say that the health of your body is only as good as the health of the cells within your body?
Yeah.
And I think if you live on the health of your body, if you're not living in a healthy body, it's because the cells within your body that you're feeding, that you're nurturing.
Davey. It's Davey Hamilton. Like, God. I know Davey really well, and I'm like, why can I not remember his name? So yeah, Davey Hamilton, or Dr. David Hamilton, he talks all about, and how we can change our physiology by changing our vibration. Because what he seen was, when he was working in the pharmaceutical industry, he seen that people were, taking medication, and it wasn't necessarily the medication that was helping them. It was the belief that the medication was helping them. So, they done lots of trials and tests with people with placebo medicines, the bright red pills. If it was a bright red pill that was a sugar pill, people would see that as something that was going to fix something that's...
Like, I associate this because there's beetroot in it with such massive antioxidants. So instantly I'm like, this is great for my joints. I'm feeding my joints. I'm feeding my knees. I'm feeding all of my bones. I'm getting great anti-inflammatory resources throughout my body. I tell myself as I'm drinking that this is what this is doing to my body. Because your subconscious mind has to know that what you're having just now is goodness. You have to bless the goodness that's coming into your body. You have to bless what you're wanting to have and what you're wanting to absorb. What's the water experiment? Have you ever heard about that?
No.
Masuro. It's beautiful. So, guys, actually, what Stephen was talking about, the David Hamilton, there's a great documentary on Netflix called Heal, and it is really, really thought-provoking. It's really inspiring. And if it doesn't make you shift some things in your life that you think, God, why am I doing that? Which is all self-sabotage, by the way, massive. I don't think we're going to even have time to go into self-sabotage today, but it's massive self-sabotage. Why are we doing what we do? Because it's what we know, and we think that is keeping us safe. We live in this external environment that we believe we're doing things because it's keeping us safe. We're responding to our outside sources, and we need to plug back in. We need to get our Hoover out and plug back into the power, because we need to get back to source. We need to get back to flow. We need to get back to big mind and understand that if you go deeper within that space that we spoke about last week, if you go deep into that space and really ask yourself, What would make my body great? What would make me feel incredible? What would make my day better? How can I do things? You know all the answers. You don't need me or Stephen or anybody else to tell us. You just need to ask yourself. And when you really ask yourself and you stop that self-sabotaging and you stop that fear of failure and fear of success, to be honest, because both of those things are just all about rejection. What if I have that and I reject that, or they reject me, or my job rejects me? That stops us from succeeding. It also stops us from failing. And it creates the fear of failure. So it stops you from progressing forward. So you live in a comfort zone. And where we said last week, if you're in your head, you're dead. If it's not growing, it's dying. That's comfort. So we need to step out of that, because that's the only way you're going to grow, by coming out of that comfort zone. The water experiment, Stephen, you would love it. It's by a Japanese scientist. I think he was Japanese. I can't remember. Masuro Emoto. And he took the purest waters from the most purest lakes, Lake Fiji, all of these places all over the world, and then took some of the most polluted water from lakes and rivers all over the world, and froze them, put them under a microscope, and the formations that both the pure water and the clear water and the poison water were so drastically different. Like the clear water had like these gorgeous formations of snowflakes and beautiful formations within them that were just so pretty, and the polluted water were almost toxic looking. You know, they almost had that poisonous head with a crisscross. That's what they had. That was the formation of them. They were really blob-like, obviously really discoloured. And what he says, that you can completely have an impact on your environment by changing the vibrational field in your body, in your environment. So he took the purest water and they played words from like Mussolini, Hitler, you know, poisonous words, swear words, hate music, and just played at it for days and days and days. After the water had been frozen, and then they looked under the microscope, the formations within the water molecules had completely changed to an unrecognisable state. They looked like the formations of the water that was polluted. And then they done both, switched it the other way. And they played, you know, words from Mother Teresa, beautiful prayers, gorgeous music, Mozart's Unfinished Symphony, all of this really empowered, beautiful things they played to it. And then when they froze that under the microscope, what do you think happened? The molecules had completely changed. So what has...
I've never heard of a motor.
Oh, it's incredible. I'll share it, Stephen. Actually, I'll share the link in this after we've posted this live. And basically what he was stating was, now, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not giving this advice, but if you were to consume what would be the most fattiest foods, the worst foods, not the best things for you, but if you were to consume them on a daily basis, but vibrated and radiated with nothing but self-belief and truth, that this was nutritionally beneficial and the best thing for you, well, your body to a certain degree could only absorb nutritional goodness. Now, of course, you're still going to get weight because the physiology part of the human body is always going to gain weight, but your body can sustain beautiful resources. It can sustain energy from things that maybe aren't always great for you, but change the molecular build-up within your body as they digest that. So if we're eating a Greggs, if we're eating rubbish every day and we're going, God, I just look at that Greggs and I put weight on. Oh, I know I shouldn't be eating cheese because it makes me feel unwell. Oh, I shouldn't be having this pizza because I've got IBS. Well, we're telling our body that this is how we react and respond to the things that we consume, to the things that are in our environment. We have a shower every day. What do? We shower ourselves with stress and worry and concern and negativity. Oh, I can't cope today. I've got such a busy week. Oh my God. We shower ourselves with that. Sorry, I interrupted you. You were going to say something.
No, not at all. You're really making me think. You know, like so. My background, as you know, is I was a chef. I started off my working career as a chef. Went away to college, done professional cookery, and trained as a pastry chef. And I always remember when, because I worked in a really high-end restaurant in Edinburgh, the Five Chimneys, the Michelin star restaurant, and I was the sweet chef, obviously, because my trade was pastry. And the days that I worked, I used to put on music and I would sing, right? I'd be like, yeah, like I remember Eminem at the time was out, and it was, that "Please Go Go to Wondering Why," that Stan song.
I know.
So I would sing my heart out to that and pour my heart out to all this really good music as I'm creating the sweets. And a lot of it was like prep work, so I would be prepping all the desserts for the evening service. And everybody always said, like, on the days that I worked, the food tasted better. And the other dessert chef, he was a crabbit wee bastard there, man, honestly. He was Italian, and not that makes it any different, but he was Italian, so his English was really broken. Nobody could really understand him at all because he hadn't learned English. But what he used to do is he used to go and help the commie chefs in the morning by peeling the garlic, because he loved to peel the garlic. And
must have reminded him of Italy.
Yeah, and every single person hated being around his energy because he was just really bullshit, and so there was always a very clear difference. I always remember the executive chef saying to me, "What is it you do to your food?" And I'm like, "I sing to it." And back then, I was like 17, 18 years old, and I had not any idea of how energy works the same way I do now. Do you know what I mean? So it's
almost that incompetent confidence, though, because you don't know how you're doing it. You don't know what you're doing. You can't replicate that to anyone else. You can't say, "This is a strategy I do," because it's a feeling. It comes from a place of love. It comes from a vibrational energy source that you're tapping into when you're doing that. So you can't say to somebody, "Right, when you're cooking, I want you to cut it like this, and I want you to lay the pastry out." Now that's a strategy of how to achieve that aesthetic look. But the taste of it, the value of it, the feeling of it, all of these things, that's coming from you. That's coming from your ego. Because it's coming, you would call ego, because it's coming from a place of just love, connection, divine beauty, all of that, whatever you want to call it, it's coming from that place.
Yeah, it's the same. Like, obviously, a lot of people ask me to make cakes for them, and like to this day, so I don't do it very often because I'm too busy. But when I make celebration cakes, everybody's like, "My God, you should be running Cranston's cakes. Never mind the Soul Man." But again, it's because there's so much good intent that's put into that.
Yeah.
And interestingly, we've got Claire watching as well, and I wanted to discuss this with you, so I'm going to take you down a different route of thinking. So Claire works with me at the Soul Man. Claire's one of my closest, most amazing friends.
Hi, Claire.
And amazing documentary. I'm pulling up the wrong thing. She's saying, "James, I love you," by the way.
Oh, thank you. I love you.
So Claire always knows when I'm not right. And I suppose it's the people that know you the best, so like we'll come into work. Claire and I always come in early so we can sit and we can chill and we can chat. Sometimes we sing, sometimes we dance just to raise our vibration. But she always knows when there's something not quite right. And she'll say things like, "You're not right today. What's wrong with you?" And then what I find myself doing is I find myself like confiding in Claire on all the things that are not right with me that day. And I do find that it can pull our energy down, and I always find that it's other people that do it.
Okay.
So it could be, I don't want to go into great detail with this, but there was someone in our environment that was toxic, I suppose, and bringing down everybody's energy. They were speaking about everybody. They were, it wasn't nice. And that really, really put a hole in my ego, I suppose. Because even though I was coming in, I was like, "Hi guys," it was bashed down by this person. I don't know what I'm trying to say about that, but for many people, they might be watching this and they might be saying, "Do you know what? I go into work and I'm way up here. I'm confident and I'm happy. Then I walk into my workplace and poof, down it comes.
There's one or two things there, Stephen. So if it's an environmental thing, now I've said to you before, it's not, the problem's not what we think. The problem is it's our thinking of the problem that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So the person isn't the problem. You're thinking of that person's toxic behaviour as a problem. So you're expecting and thinking, of course they're still toxic. That doesn't change the vibrational state or the thought process or the state that they're in. Because I don't know if I believe that there's a toxic state. I think there's a self-sabotaging state. There's an angry state. There's a state of hurt and hate. You know, we don't know what that person has gone through to be in that place. Same as the Italian chef. Let's look at it from the Italian chef point of view. Now, you said a lot of things that was quite interesting about the Italian chef. He didn't speak great English. He was really frustrated. How was people's behaviour to him to get him to be frustrated?
They were frustrated back, so there was always this battle of...
So how do you react in a frustrated state? You act frustrated. Because that's what you're getting back, that's what you're giving out. So your life is a true reflection of the life within you. So you're experiencing what you're projecting out. So if he's frustrated because his language barrier, people aren't getting him. You know, who's not to say that guy when he was back in Italy wasn't the best chef in the world? And was like, oh, da, and you know, really thriving in his environment because people were buzzing off his creativity. Now what we have, what's the opposite from being creative? Being suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
So within an environment where you're not understood, within an environment, now that's this person with this toxic person was probably in an environment where it wasn't right for them. But the problem that dropped your vibration, that dropped your energy, that changed your state, wasn't the person, it was your thinking of the person. Because remember we spoke about your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. When we try and impact it between the feelings and the action stage, we're too far gone.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've changed our state, we've changed our behaviours at that point. But if we change it at the thought stage, or thought about that person, would you know what? That thought person, they're probably really sad. They're probably really angry. They're acting out in some way. Why are they acting out when we start? Because this is all about us as well. This is understand why are we self-sabotaging? You ask better questions, you get better answers.
Mm-hmm.
But if you continually walk around and say, I was going to say the see you next Tuesday word, but I won't because it's 10 o'clock in the morning. But, you know, if you constantly walk around saying, Nera, see you next Tuesday, even into yourself, you're going to see them in that state.
Mm-hmm.
They're toxic. And by the way, I mean, we've all met toxic people in our life. I know plenty of toxic people that I've decided to cut out my life. But they come from a good place. Because every behaviour comes from a positive intention. The subconscious mind is always trying to keep you safe with a positive intention. So that toxic behaviour that person that is projecting, they weren't born toxic. Something's happened along the way for them to project this toxic behaviour, this state of hurt, of anger, of aggression, of whatever it may be. But your behaviour doesn't have to change because of somebody else's. And of course it has a direct impact. I'm not saying it doesn't. Of course it absolutely does. But it's asking those questions of going, well, why? Because then you might not get back to your level 10 vibration or buzzing, oh, I'm so happy, I'm so confident, I feel great. But if you can find something positive within that situation, at least it helps you to come back to your natural state, your place you go, well, they're not right. I need to look at ways to change this. If they're that toxic, why do you have them there? It has to change. You're the creator of your environment. And if it's having such a massive impact on you, it's only having a massive impact because you're living in the feeling you're thinking of the situation. So you need to then look at developing change. You need to get enough leverage. You need to associate enough pain with having that person there to then be able to change it.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. It really is interesting what you're saying because I suppose me as a person, I always just want people to be nice. You know, I'm one of these people where I don't like conflict. I don't understand why people get frustrated and annoyed with silly things. You know, I'll be like, why is that bothering you though?
Yeah.
You know, I would never do anything to hurt you. You know, I'm always here to support you. And I suppose that's my biggest thing. You know, I always I don't understand.
But that's just your view in the world.
Mm.
Your view is exactly how it is to you, but it's also not. Somebody else's view is exactly how it is. That behaviour, that toxicity that person is projecting, in the past might have got them what they deemed as only wanting love or only wanting attention. Well, that's getting them attention. Remember we spoke about the 6 human needs? You look at significance. A toxic person is significant within that environment because every single one of you is making that person significant. But what's going on in their life? Are they growing? Well, that was good. That was the first light bulb moment of today for you.
No, it was. There was a few, but that is absolutely right. What you're saying. Every person there made that person significant because I suppose we fed that because we were all really affected by it.
Yeah,
it's really fascinating stuff.
I suppose it's like, if you've got, I don't know, I used this analogy before, but if you've got £100 and somebody stole a fiver, are you going to give up the other £95 to go and get the fiver back?
Yeah.
No, you're going to focus on keeping that £95. You're going to focus on growing that £95, invest in it, make it work for you, create leverage so that you make £500. How do you dilute down that toxicity? What's the opposite to toxicity? Clarity, harmoniousness, joy, love, all those things. Only way to dilute it down is to feed it what it doesn't want. And actually, probably it's the one thing that it does want. It's the one thing that it needs. You nurture it with love, you nurture it with kindness, you nurture it with you. You don't change you. Because if you lower your vibrational state, and you'll know this, I'm not telling you anything, you lower your vibrational state, bang, here we go. Let's just more and more and more. You continually raise that vibrational state, eventually they fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is cutting out maybe the pain and the hurt and all the trauma that could be caused with toxicity to eventually go, this isn't working. Okay, let's pull the glove off. Let's pull the bandage off. But eventually somebody goes, if I don't change, I have to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is actually what naturally happened in that situation.
Isn't that funny?
It's like, I believe that so what I did was I starved that situation of oxygen. I stopped giving it attention. I stopped giving it and I just leveled up. I was like, I'm not here to listen to that.
Yeah.
We are here to do a really positive job. So do you know what? If there is an issue, if there is a problem, then that problem is you. And interestingly, Claire done the same thing, and it completely changed the whole vibration of the whole thing, because that situation was then starved of oxygen. It wasn't able to thrive in our environment. Essentially, I'm talking about it like it's a mushroom, but like eventually it fell off.
Yeah.
And then what happened as a result of that is I changed our recruitment process quite drastically. And I said, I'm never, ever, ever going to experience that ever again. So we changed our whole recruitment process to make sure we had the right people. And, instead of me employing people, I got the whole team involved, and it was the whole team's decision. So I've got a thing that we've got a picture on the wall in the shop as well, and that is that spirituality is a round table, nobody sits at the head of it. And it's exactly the same as my business. I don't sit at the head of my business, I sit at the bottom of my business, and it's my role to support the team, and it's their role to support.
I should change that bottom word. I want you to be the foundation of it. If you're supporting, you're the foundation. You're creating, you're inviting, you're bringing all these people, these fabulous people who week after week are here supporting what you're doing. You're the foundation of it. And every single one of them, I'm sure, would support that foundation, whether it be a round table, whether it be a skyscraper. You are the strength. You're the one that's implementing this incredible inclusivity. You're bringing these people to say, let's all make this work for us. And that's a tremendous, tremendous environment to create, Stephen. That's massive amount of leverage to create a huge amount of change.
I'm going to change that then. I am not the bottom. I am the 90s.
What?
I am the Nikes.
There you go. I love it. Good pair of Doc Martens.
Aye.
But you know, it's funny you're saying that because part of all of your like your self-sabotage and your confidence part, there's 4 stages to implementing change in it. And it's deciding. So you decided that person was never, you were never going to have somebody like that again. Now, your judgment could always be, misleading or clouded. So what did you do? You brought other people in. So decisive action. This is how we're going to move forward. You created enough leverage for change. You associated enough pain with having that person in your environment that will never happen again. So you looked at all the things that you missed out on in the pursuit of pleasure, creating a really lovely environment, everybody radiating at the same vibration, everyone loving this space that you're trying to create. You then went on to bring in the change, so you brought everybody else into that. And then what happened? You conditioned it, you implemented it. You decided that every day, this is the type of working environment that we all need to work in. It's because it's not about we want to work in. We need to do it because this is what we want. So now your environment has become a place of need because your desire is want. So let me do a wee experiment with you then, right?
Go for it.
If you would have, right, so I want you to think of somebody that you want to have coming into your environment, right? But before you think about it, I want you to hope that person comes in. Just hope that person will come into your environment. Think about it, close your eyes. Hope that person will come into your environment. I hope that situation will happen. And let me know when you've got a kind of clearish picture in your mind.
I can't think of anybody.
Right, that's fine, because it's not a person. It's just a thing you want this person to radiate or experience, right?
Right, okay, I get that then. So it's what I want.
Just something it's not want, something you hope.
What I hope.
You hope will happen or come into your life.
Okay.
Now, open your eyes a wee second. Now, I want you to think of the same thing, but expect it will happen. Expect that that's going to happen. And now shut your eyes and think about it. It's
already quite natural. It's something that I do. I expect everything.
You expect, okay. Is there a difference in the expectation and the hope of it then? Because when you were hoping, you were taking a long time to really home in that picture and your eyes looked as if they were trying to screw up to get there.
Yeah, I was finding it hard because I think that everything that I think about, I expect to happen.
Fantastic. So there's a difference in how you gain a bit of confidence. You don't hope it's going to happen, you expect it's going to happen.
Yeah.
That instantly creates confidence. What?
It's interesting that I was already there. You know, that.
Well, when I said to you expect, you went, I know it.
Yeah. Because I just expect that every single person that walks in through the doors of the shop has a wonderful experience. I expect that the people that will draw into our shop is people who are high vibing, positive, lovely people. I expect that the people that aren't like that are people who will get a little bit of something from our shop and take that away and be much happier in their lives.
Yeah.
I expect that we only ever attract positivity, which is so fascinating. You know, we get very little negativity, you know, very, very small amounts of negativity. Whereas other businesses will really struggle with that because they'll have things thrown at them all the time. You know, it could be.
You don't live in that fear state, though. That's the difference, because you don't expect to get negativity. Why would you get negativity? Because you're not hoping that people are going to leave. You're not hoping that people are going to leave and feel good. You're not hoping that people are going to have a nice experience. You expect people are going to have that. So therefore, your belief system is completely different. There's a, can I remember this now? There's a, I might need to draw it actually, hold on. Give me a second to see if I can remember this. I only learned this recently actually. It kind of blew my mind a wee bit. I'll be okay for time. So
yeah. It's interesting while you're doing that as well, James. 3 years ago, we had lots of situations like that. One that was very difficult, where we had like maybe 4 or 5 members of staff, team, whatever you want to call them, that were in and out and in and out. And they all fell off as well, I suppose. But it's because I was expecting things to be going wrong in that area of the business.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't present.
Yeah.
And see, the minute that I shifted all my thinking and everything to expecting things to go well and expecting the team to feel supported and all the rest of it, that's when everything changed.
So you then instantly install confidence into your environment as well. So how other people reacted and even their own speciality treatment or whatever they do, you've got confidence in them, you've got confidence in the environment, you've got confidence within your business. So you've changed their potential, which changes their actions, which changes their results, which changes their beliefs. Now, believe it or not, that was exactly, I'm so glad you told that story because this is what I'm writing. So all I had was potential, actions, results, and here would be self-belief. Now, this can only work when all four are filled because if you've got potential, but you've maybe not got confidence with it, well, confidence is self-belief. If you've got potential and you're maybe not quite competent fully, well, that's going to have a big, massive impact on your actions, which is ultimately going to have a huge impact on your results because your results are going to be pretty poor. Or they're going to be, it's purely based on how much your potential is. If you increase your self-belief, you increase your confidence, you increase that state, it impacts your potential.
I can hear Ollie.
He's so noisy this morning. He just keeps wanting about crying for some reason. You know what it was, Stephen? It's because I had the music on.
Oh, really?
And I had the music on. He started running up and down and thought I was going to play with him. He's totally, honestly, he's like Kenny. He's a total attention-seeking whore. So you've got your potential impacting your actions, impacting your results, which impact your self-belief. So that matrix cannot work. And these three cannot be of high performance if this self-belief and this confidence is in a low state. Now, when this is vibrating high and you've got better potential, you're working to a better potential, you're creating better actions, you're getting better results. Well, what happens when you get better results is your confidence and your self-belief gets better. So therefore, your potential gets even better. Therefore, your actions get fucking amazing. And then your results get spectacular. And then that starts to create and create and create. So when you continuously work on that matrix, where's my confidence? Now, it's not always about competence. It's about the confidence and the self-belief that you have to take on an action.
I just love that because it's so true. It's almost like you're speaking about my journey the last few years. And Claire's even saying there as well. She's saying, when you learned to trust yourself, it changed, bro.
Yeah. And
it really did because I was in this place where I'd been hurt by people, I'd been broken, I'd been, from previous experiences with my last business and all the rest of it, and I suppose I didn't really believe in me. I had this huge big thing where I was scared that people were going to hurt me again. I was scared that, people wouldn't believe in me or trust me or, and that
isn't that funny when you still associate enough pain with that situation that is the thing that stops you from moving forward? But if you associate more pain with it, that's enough to create leverage to want to change in the pursuit of pleasure. So it really is, Stephen, when you hear people saying they hit rock bottom, they get to the lowest point, that's when somebody's mind shift changes and they go, I can't do this anymore because I can't take any more pain. The pain now becomes all-consuming. I can't do this anymore, so I have to associate more pleasure with this. I have to associate more pleasure with all the things that I could have than more pain of all the things that I'm not going to have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when change happens, because that's when you decide, and that's when you create leverage. That's when you take action.
It's amazing, absolutely amazing, because it is really everything that you've spoken about today, it's kind of like my journey over the last few years. And see, now I'm at a point now where I feel so grateful for the people that are around me. For my team. So the Soul Man family, it really is this tight knit family of people that come to work and they adore their work and they're missing their work. Every one of them, they're like, my God, we're missing the shop. Let's come back. Like, you can't. See that, for me, it brings a tear to my eye. It's making me feel quite emotional, the fact that everybody just feels that love and that warmth. And the interesting thing, James, is I believe that the environment that we have created at the shop, it's all to do with that. And you'll feel it yourself when you come to the shop. Everybody who walks through the doors of the shop say, when I walk in the door, it's almost like I walk through this, like a barrier that like removes anything negative. The feeling in the shop. People always talk about how they feel when they're in the shop. Mm-hmm. And we moved last March, just before the pandemic, and everybody was terrified that we would lose the feeling of the old shop because it was small and it was cozy. So what I did was I got a big box, right? And I took the box and I put it in the middle of the shop when I'd emptied everything out. And I said, okay, right, shop, I'm going to ask you to move all the energy that we've created into this box overnight. So I went away, I left the box open in the middle of the shop overnight. And then I went back the next day and I felt the shop was really empty, right? I was like, oh, this is weird. It's eerie. It's empty. And the box, I closed the flaps on the box and I lifted it. And I swear to God, that box was heavier than when I put it down. It was an empty box. And I carried that single box round to the new shop, 112 steps, round to the new shop. And I put it in the middle of the new shop and I opened and I says, fill this space with the love that we created in the old shop.
That's beautiful.
And honestly, it came with us. But I don't believe that it's necessarily the energy that was in the box. I believe it's the energy that we create as a team.
Of course it is.
But
anyway, use the ones that filled that box. Use the ones that filled that regardless.
Yeah. Sorry to go down a leafy lane with that, but it's amazing.
So nice.
Claire's saying she's greeting again. Oh. Catherine is saying that the energy hits you as soon as you walk in. It's amazing.
Can't wait to experience
it. Really is amazing. Claire does do that as well. She shouts when she comes in. She says, "Morning, angels."
So lovely. But it's just knowing that there's something greater than us that's guiding us and governing us. And I think we just need to realise that we're always connected to that source. So we need to plug in. We just need to understand that our experience, again, that toxic person, how we respond to our external factors, it's only our thoughts, it's only our thinking. That's not soul, that's not spirit, that's not big mind, that's not universal mind, that's none of those things, because that's harmonious.
Yeah.
But our thinking of the problem is not the problem. Sorry, the problem is not... why can I never say this? That throws me every time.
What we think, it's what we think, that one.
Yeah, but no, what we think is the problem is not. It's our thinking of the problem is the problem.
Yeah.
Ollie, shush.
You need to do that. Sound effects. Sorry.
Oh, that was lovely. That was perfect timing.
That's us at an hour already. It's crazy.
I know.
Anybody got anything that they want to ask James before they go? I think that's been a really good session, though.
I've enjoyed that today.
It's maybe quite a selfish session because I've spoke about myself quite a lot, but I think everything that you're saying's resonated with me so heavily. So,
Well, can I give a wee tip for everybody then? Your box, Stephen, because that's made me visualise something, and something that I learned recently was a confidence cape, right? And you think kids, when they were younger, used to put a cape on and they would run about the house or they put a sheet or a towel around you. I know I did. And that gave you confidence.
I'll do that.
What?
Do you not still do that? No. Like, I genuinely do. I come out the shower and I obviously I don't need the towel around me. I'd put it around my neck and I run around the house. I genuinely do. I'm only kidding.
I actually believe that you do. But you know, that's a good analogy of how to create confidence kind of instantly. Imagine yourself. Kenny, going to get a hold of him. Imagine yourself with that confidence cape. You know, for you bringing guys into the team, you just could take that energy for the box and make people wear that every single day. On the days that you're not feeling, the days that you and Claire go in and sit and you're thinking, I'm a bit flat, it's time to say, okay, where's my confidence cape? Get that box back out because I need another smaller package from there to attach to myself today. And think about how if you did wear a cape, that instantly changes what we spoke about first was your physiology. You know, your physiology changes your state instantly. So on the days that you're really struggling to just get yourself connected, just feel a bit empowered, feel a bit confident, and you need it, you really need it for a situation, for a job interview, for a live like I did last night. Get your confidence cape on, because that straight away, walk with it, that changes your physiology, that changes your state.
I think we're going to have to look at getting a wee cape in the shop as well.
See, if you turn up like Robin at a Batman, I'm telling you, I'm not wearing tights, that's for sure.
Well, thank you very much for today, James. I've really thoroughly enjoyed that, and all the comments there, everybody's saying that they've loved it as well. Joanne, Nicola's saying she loves the energy box idea. Joanne is saying I've really loved this morning.
Thanks, Joanne.
I think it's Vary. It is Vary. Yeah, it is Vary. Hello, Vary. Nice to see you. She's saying confidence cape. I love it. So yeah. Thank you so much, James.
One thing, remember, confidence is not something that you have, it's something you create. I knew I had a wee statement up there to throw out somewhere, but it's not something you have, it's something you create. So people think, I don't have confidence, I am not confident. You need to learn to create confidence. And the more that you start to create that on a daily basis, the more that starts to become instilled in your anchor of confidence. If you can gain access to it, if you can stick that cape on, that's when you're creating it. I knew there was something I had to say. It's not something you have, it's something you create.
It's definitely something that you create, though, isn't it? You know, like over your years as a hairdresser, you'll have created confidence in your craft by like honing your skill.
We create it in others as well. We create it, you know, from my skill and from your skill. We create that confidence that somebody comes to you for a reading. You're giving them confidence in probably what they already know to be true. Just giving them that bit of confidence, and actually I can go on and live my life and either be happy knowing that my loved one or whoever's passed over, or they're making the right decisions in my future, and actually I'm in the right place, because we're only ever, where we are is where we're meant to be. We're only ever in the right place right now. We're not in the wrong place, because it's the only place it is. It's that kind of non-duality thing. It's not wrong or right, it just is. You're where you're meant to be at this precise moment in time. So wear your confidence cape, believe it's something that you create and not something that you don't have, and just live your life with a wee bit more power, live it with a wee bit more belief. And I promise, the more you start to believe in yourself, you might still doubt it. The doubt, just remember, that's just thought trying to keep you safe. The self-belief is the inner knowing that you've got limitless potential, you've got an incapable amount of opportunity that's abundant to us all. You just need to start believing that you are deserving of it, and don't let the ego be dented. Don't let that association with pain. That probably turned into more of a pain and pleasure session this morning rather than a confidence session. But it's the crux of it all, basically.
Yeah, I think that how it went this morning worked perfectly, because I think it's really helped a lot of people. So, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So, tomorrow, guys, we have got the very lovely Susan Watson. She's moved her usual Friday, or I've asked her to move her usual Friday slot, because on Friday we have got Dean Cameron coming on to speak to you guys. Now, Dean is from Fort William. He is a really, really inspirational guy. The best way that I can describe him is he likes to jump in the loch up at Ben Nevis every single morning, freezing cold water, and how cold water immersions changed his life and really helped him, how many other things that he's done have helped and changed his life after being through two of the most difficult years of his life. He's created a massive following on TikTok as well. So you'll be able to hear from him on Friday. So yeah, I think that's all I need to say today. James, thank you very much for coming.
Well, Stephen's just cut himself off and left me. I will say goodbye for him. Guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. I don't know if he's cut me off or what's happened there, but have a lovely, lovely Wednesday. Are you there?
I got kicked out of the studio. What happened there?
I cut himself off. I just done your wrap up. It's fine. You don't need to do anything else. Just go.
Oh, really? Right. Thank you, James. Take care, everybody, and see you all later. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.